Welcome to the Midlife Sex Coach for Women podcast, the only show that combines a fun personality, medical knowledge, sexual counseling, and life coaching together to create unique sex coaching that helps busy women awaken their libidos, address intimacy issues, and learn how to express their sexuality for the rest of their days. Here's your host, certified life coach and sexual counselor, Dr. Sonia Wright.
You are listening to the Midlife Sex Coach for Women podcast, episode 238. Woo woo, women and diamonds and your diamond partners. So good to have you here. I am here with Coach Donna, one of my besties, and the person I'm going to be doing the Reignite Intimacy program with from September 20th to December 6th. We'll be telling you more about that at the end of the call if you want to stay tuned. But right now, we're going to be talking about the podcast. And I brought her on to the podcast today because I want to talk to you about the top 10 myths for women in their 50s and 60s and what is coming up for people. So this is what I want to talk about, the top 10 myths for midlife women and around sexual intimacy. And I'm just going to list each one. We're going to have a short conversation. We're going to attempt to have a short conversation. Let's be real. Coach Donna and I never really have short conversations, but we are dedicated to a short conversation. And so we're going to see how well we do this. But this is also just so that people that want to join us for the Reignite Intimacy program can recognize like this is what we're like. This is our conversation. We're going to have such a good time. I'm super excited for this program, and I'm super excited for all the transformations that the women are going to be having in the program and all the connections. Like, oh my goodness, the friendships that get formed, the work that's going to be done. It's just going to be amazing. And so I'm super excited. But right now, we're going to talk about the 10 myths. Okay, let me tell you, I don't really have a lisp unless I'm saying the word myths.
So I was like, you don't have a list or a list?
Seriously. So I'm like, yes, let me just say, I'm having difficulty saying the word myth, and that is not, myth is not a problem. But if I put an S on the end, I have issues. So let's get rid of all myths. Let's just talk about this. Okay. Number one myth. Sex is only for young people. Talk to me about that, Coach Donna.
That's a lie.
It's a
That's a lie.
Yeah, it's a super lie. Like, please.
Oh my God.
Now I'm going to spill the beans a little bit, just in case people do not know. Donna got married. You got married after the age of 40. Is that correct?
I got married at the age of 40. I
Okay.
was 40 and I don't know, 2 months and a couple of weeks. So yeah. And so also just to say I'd been celibate until I got married. So hello, don't pull your car over, don't wreck as you listen to this. Yes. So yeah, I mean, that certainly was a concern as I was getting older, but not a problem.
Is that all you have to say? Because I'm ready to say something about this. Anything else
Get
you want
after
to
it.
add?
Have at it. Get after it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm on the other side, and I started relatively young with sexual intimacy. Imagine that. But, it was not sexual intimacy for me specifically. It was based on my concepts in my 20s about how women should show up and how they should focus on their partner and stuff like that, and their partner's pleasure and things like that. I mean, I had pleasure too, but the real focus was on looking sexy and pleasing somebody else. And what I love about sex in 50s and I'm about to hit 60 is that it's more for me now. Like, and part of it is because society stops thinking about older women as sexual beings. I have to say that is shifting and changing. Like there's the cougar and the super cougar. And I don't even want labels on this. It's just women that get to enjoy sexual intimacy no matter what age they are. And that is fine. We don't have to be a cougar. We don't have to be, I don't know what other words are out there. Like you're just a sexual being. You get to be a sexual being your entire life, right? So sex is not only for young people, but I have to say, as I have gotten older, I have put the focus more on my pleasure. And And many of you know I have a partner that's 15 years younger than me. So, like, if I were going to be opting out of sex, I probably wouldn't be in that relationship. So, I had to like do some mind gymnastics myself and be like, okay, um, like, I'm a sexual being, and as a sex coach, I always do the work anyway, right? Because you can't coach on something if you're not doing the work, right?
Yeah.
But as I'm hitting 60, I had to do the work again because I realized my brain was telling me messages that I didn't think I knew had, I'm like, "Where the is
Mhm.
this coming from? This is ridiculous." And then I was like, okay, yeah, we so part of the reason why this podcast is here is because a lot of this stuff came up again over the year in my
Uh-huh.
59th year as I was heading to 60, and I had to do the work again even though I didn't even know it was there. It's like, oh yeah, it actually here. So myth number 1, sex is only for young people. Absolutely not. Please get rid of that myth. Okay. Myth number 2, menopause means your sex life is over.
No. Um, and I know that there are many symptoms, and for those who have not been around and heard, I am a physician assistant, so I have worked with women in functional medicine and around hormones and perimenopause and menopause and postmenopause. And so, are there changes in our body? Absolutely. Um, are there ways that we can support those changes so that we experience life more optimally? 100%. Um, and so it does not mean that because you've hit this mark in life, so to speak, that all right, now pleasure's out the window. Now you're just not somebody that does that anymore. And that's just so not true. And I think that that's a thief of so much pleasure.
Yeah, like 100%. Yes. So it is that thought alone has stolen so much pleasure from this earth. Now let's get
Mhm.
real. Yeah, menopause, which is that year-long period of time from the point that you had your last period till like a year out. That's menopause. Postmenopause is after that, right?
Yep.
So yeah, our bodies are changing, right? And
Hmm.
first of all, we need to do the medical disclaimer. I'm a doctor, Coach Donna is a physician assistant, right? So that being the case, we are in the medical field, but we are not your medical practitioners.
That's
So
right.
please go to your medical practitioners and deal with anything that's you're encountering physically around menopause, postmenopause,
Hmm.
hormones, and HRT and things like that. But your sex life is not over. You may have to be more intentional about things. You may have to look into medicine, and I definitely talk about and ask your provider about this localized estrogen, like at least for the vaginal vulva area to look at
Hmm.
that, especially if you're experiencing symptoms associated with genital urinary syndrome of menopause, because you will need to kind of fortify that area. And some people call it vitamin E, vitamin estrogen, right?
Hmm.
So things do happen. The lack of lubrication, there may be pain, there may be other things happening. The tissue becomes delicate. I'm not going to lie, things change. And it does not have to be the end of sex, but it does have to be, if you have not previously been focused a lot on your health and your body and such, it does put the emphasis in that area. So the caveat is yes, you do have to manage and maintain your body, and
Yep.
at the same time, sex can be amazing and wonderful. And
Hmm.
also what I do like is when we get creative around sex and sexual intimacy because, menopausal changes that have occurred or perimenopause.
Right.
Like, a lot of this stuffing is happening in perimenopause, and we're realizing that the sooner we start HRT and things like that, that might be more beneficial to people. So that's something to
Yeah.
discuss with your provider, but there's a lot of good information that's coming out now that makes it such that menopause is not the end of your sex life. Okay.
Right.
Number 3, myth number 3, a normal woman should lose interest in sex as she ages. Okay.
Well, then I'm happily abnormal,
I
and
know, I
I'm
know.
good. I'm okay. I'm okay to be AB normal. So, yeah. And I think some of this also happens because we may be in the first generation is having these conversations.
Mm.
We're not afraid to have this conversation and talking about that. Where also for me coming out of generations before me was hush hush.
Yeah.
So it might have been more abnormal to talk about it. So you're more abnormal isn't so much that you're uh like it's just that hey, when your body passes that mark, you shouldn't. Really? Who said?
Yeah, who says? So, like, your interest, I don't know if it's your interest that decreases or there's other things that you have to focus on and put a little bit more effort towards, right? And it's at
Yeah.
a time where a lot of things may be happening in our lives and our life feels more complex than it did before. But that doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily mean that we need to lose interest, but it does mean what is happening in our lives that is impacting our interest in sexual intimacy? What is it? Do we need more sleep? Are we dealing with stuff
Mhm.
related to perimenopause and menopause? Is it that we have a lot of stress in our lives? Are our children moving back into the house or, or have not left?
Yeah,
Because a lot of us
totally.
had kids later in life,
Yeah.
And so, like, I had my first child at 33. I was in medical school, right? So
Yeah.
I'm hitting 60 and my children are age 13 up to 26, just about to hit 27, right? So, um, our parents, like, they would be deep into grandparenthood and maybe
Mhm.
heading into great-grandparenthood by this
Yes.
time, right? And so a lot of us who still have the kids in the house or because, of the economy and stuff, the kids can't find jobs or they can't afford and so they're coming back into that. So we've got a lot of things that are on our plate, and so we get to
Mhm.
look at that as to why we're losing interest in sex, but it doesn't mean that this is a normal process or it doesn't have to be. And also if you are okay with losing interest in sex and your partner is okay with losing interest in sex or you never had it, that also gets to be okay too. I don't want it
Then
to
it's not a
be
problem,
such that
right?
I'm not going to make it a problem if it's not a problem. But
Yeah.
if you would like it to be otherwise, I'm here to say it doesn't have to just go
Mhm.
into this place. Okay.
Yeah.
Myth number 4. If you don't spontaneously want sex, so if you don't have a spontaneous libido or desire, something is wrong.
Yes, people I hope people have been listening, and if they've not been listening, I hope they've been reading, where we have, talked often, at different times, and even, in our book club, reviewed the whole notion of spontaneous, versus responsive libido, and, you know, and that there's also that different time in a relationship, right? There's early attraction and there's that chemistry going on, and then things shift to it within the relationship. As you mentioned, there's as you talk about, there's each individual has their own libido, and then there's the relationship libido,
Uh-huh.
right? And so I would widen the aperture to understand the notion of libido and spontaneity and recognizing that there is more to it rather than just thinking something's wrong or I'm broken.
Yeah, definitely. So I talk a lot about this concept of coming from a neutral libido.
Hmm.
It's not turned on. It may feel like it's turned off, but it's kind of coming from a neutral place, and
Hmm.
that's okay. It doesn't have to be from like the engines are revving and ready to go at any moment, right? It's
Yeah.
okay to start at a neutral place, and nothing has gone wrong with that. And then you make choices as to are you in the mood for a little something? Let's see what would you need to do, and you can always reserve this option for I want to try it and see how it's going. And if I'm not in the mood, I'll be there to support you as my partner. But if I don't want full on sex, then we can shift to other gears and have that conversation and say, is that
Hmm.
something that, and then some partners might be like, no, like if we started, we got to finish it. Well, then understand if your concept is if there's something starts, it has to be finished, it might not get started. And
Exactly.
like, it might be the case that if something got started, you might have a 30 something percent chance that it goes to completion versus stopping, right? But
Yes.
if the choice is all or nothing, a lot of women are gonna choose nothing because 'cause they're
Yeah.
coming from a place of a neutral place. So, if we understand that there might be something and that something is connection, and that
Mhm.
something gets to include satisfaction and pleasure for everybody, even if it looks a
Mhm.
little different, then hey, have this conversation and figure it out. But understand that it's okay to come from a place of neutrality where you're not sure if you want sex or not, and you get to kind of investigate if you might become more interested in it and then go forth from there. Okay,
Yeah.
number 5. I think number 5 is kinda similar to number 4, so we'll mention it, but then we're gonna go from there. Like, good sex
Okay.
should happen naturally, and I think that that's one of those things, like, where you shouldn't schedule it, and you shouldn't, like,
Oh,
it's something along the lines of the spontaneity, right?
I interpreted that as you should come out of the womb knowing how to have sex. Okay, not as a baby, right? But that when you start having sex, you should be a pro
Oh, yeah, that's another way
versus
to look at it too, so thank you, yeah, and neither of
Mhm.
it and none of it is correct. Like, it's okay to experiment, it's okay to learn, it's okay to read. We love to read different books, like, I'm always, like, becoming cliterate, like, you get to read all these different books and learn
Mhm.
and experiment and see, "Did you like that? No, I didn't like that. What did you like that?" Like, and
Mhm.
it's okay if, like, you have kinda, like, the position doesn't work out, you end up laughing,
Yes.
it's like laughter's okay around sex and sexual intimacy. Like it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be perfect and it doesn't have to be natural. And you know what else is this stupid concept that like you have to come together, that type of thing. Like you
Got
have
it.
to have an
Yes.
orgasm at the same time, and that's part
Mhm.
of doing it naturally and doing it the right way. No, like we know that 85% of women need clitoral stimulation, right? So
Mhm.
we need to understand what our bodies need and kind of go from there. So there's not really this good sex happens naturally. It comes through education and it comes through experimentation and it comes through figuring out what your body likes.
So I highly recommend you practice.
Yes, practice makes perfect. Oh, wait, there's no perfect.
Practice
You
makes
just get to
pleasure.
practice and practice and practice. Woohoo! For the win.
Practice makes pleasure. That's right.
All right. Painful sex is a part of aging. I hate
Mhm.
this one.
Nah. Yeah. So, and I think this is where I think this can be very freeing, um, to understand that you don't have to live with that.
Yeah.
And it ties into some of what we've talked about when it comes to menopause, but there's nothing wrong. It's not how life has to be. And please seek support.
Yes,
Um,
100%. Like,
it is
no
not
woman should
necessary.
be engaging in sex if it's painful. Nothing
Hmm.
positive if it's unwanted pain. Nothing positive
Hmm.
happens from pain with sex if you're not like, if you don't want to be in pain and don't have sex because we need to figure out what the underlying issue is. You deserve to be healthy, you deserve to enjoy yourself, you just
Hmm.
deserve to have fun with it, not come from a place where you're just like tolerating it and trying to get it over as quickly as you can. You'll never be in your body because your body's in pain. So you'll always be up in your mind and you'll be trying to get it done as fast as possible. Your partner knows you're not enjoying it. Like nobody is happy with that situation, right?
Hmm.
So, yeah, painful sex is not a part of aging. We do the work, we figure it out, we see what we need to do to physically help ourselves and make sure our practitioners can help us with that. All right. Aging makes women less sexually attractive. Like we are just right here on like we're both beautiful. Like there's
Hello.
no two ways about it. So like
Yeah.
we're in our 50s. I'm about to hit 60. Like that's just bullshit. But we can discuss it. Aging makes women less sexually attractive.
And on one hand, I mean, I guess I can only answer that from as a woman. I think the temptation is to think about seeing that from a partner's perspective, maybe, and honestly, I'm thinking more of from a man's perspective. Um, but I think a notion like, yes, I like to look nice for my husband. I like to look nice for me.
Right.
Um, but I don't like to look nice for him because I'm afraid of not looking as nice as another woman that may come into our sphere or he may work with.
Okay.
Like, and I think often we also run into this that, um, if we could only see ourselves the way our partners see us. They see us, with very loving eyes, and they find us very attractive. Our lumps and our bumps and our saggy bits, all of that. We might be critiquing that, but they're not.
And if they
Um
are, they're not the right partner for you. I mean, honestly, like, get
Mhm.
rid of the partner and keep your lumps. Like, it's a lot easier. Like, honestly, I have to say that I've had people in my life that were not kind to me, and
Mm,
would tell me that my body shape or size or color or whatever was not appropriate. And these were like people in my family. And it took me many years
mm,
to get over these kind of messages, right?
yeah,
And so like I no longer tolerate that. I no longer
good.
tolerate somebody that cannot see my beauty because at this point in my life, I am focused on appreciating I cannot be anything other than who I am. So why
Mhm.
would I take my time and energy feeling bad about myself, right? Like it's not acceptable. And if I have a partner and that partner is like, you need to lose weight or you're just not beautiful, I wish you looked like somebody I'd be like, go find that person down the hall. Cause like I'm not wasting
Yeah,
my energy with that. What my energy
yeah.
is going to be is focused on who I am and how I was made the way I am made and how
Mm.
I'm put on this earth to please anybody else.
I was gonna say, buying into that, can be a perpetual, um I don't know, I wanna say a little purgatory, like, but the point being, I have, had women as clients or patients or both, and I don't coach patients. I mean, literally, in a whole separate world of working in medicine and doing, some HRT and stuff, where they were in relationships because, it became apparent this was a security kind of thing,
Uh,
and so they were trying to figure out how to stay um, a certain shape, certain size, wrinkleless, no lines, and a libido to hold a position
yeah,
that was a sense of security.
yeah,
And when I realized that, I'm like, oh my, like that's I don't know their story and I don't know why, but that is a lot to live up to because you just don't know. You're only guessing if that you are wanting to keep somebody's attention, but you never know what it's going to take to keep their attention. Like you
yeah.
don't have control of that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a hard thing to have your status or your security through somebody else.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And I don't wanna belittle that, and I don't wanna be like, "Well, they should get rid of that person," or
mhm,
whatever, because my choices in life are different from their choices in life.
yeah,
All I can do is send them love and, hope that they find their empowerment, like, hope that they
yeah,
get to live their best life, and maybe that is their best life, and that's how they choose and want to live. So, I
yeah,
can honor people's choices, and I can also be that aging is a beautiful process. I can also
uh-huh,
say, like, you see me here with my gray hair. I went gray in my 30s, and I come from a family that grays very early, and it was a source of shame for a really long time. And
mm,
now I see that it actually is like a source of beauty and wonder, you know?
good for
But
you.
our society has messages about aging, and we
Yeah,
have to contradict those messages. We have to be like, "No, that message is not one that I choose." But we have to be intentional about it, and also be
mhm,
intentional about, yes, I will have some wrinkles. Yes, I have big laugh lines, um, yeah, and this is who I am. Like,
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
50, and I don't really wanna be 20 again, and I have nothing against 20-year-olds, but, you know, like, I'm pretty happy at 60,
Mhm,
and I'm gonna celebrate what that looks like and who that is, and I'm
yeah,
gonna hope for the best for other people, and also, like, you get to be there for yourself.
yes,
Yes.
love it. Yes.
Okay, myth number 8, it's too late to rediscover your sexuality.
I'm gonna tell you this story. A number of years ago, I actually, while I was in college, lived as a caretaker for an older individual, and she told me the story. So the person I took care of was in her 90s, and she told me the story of a friend like 20 plus years before, and that friend had gotten married in their early 70s. And she came back from her honeymoon and said, "If I'd known it was gonna be this much fun, I'd have done this a long time ago." So
So good.
that's right. So, never too late.
Never too late,
Uh,
and I have to say, like, I'm the midlife sex coach for women, but I have coached all ages, from 18 to 80 something, and some of my favorite clients are in their 80s, and they're rediscovering their sexuality at that point,
mhm,
gave them the power and the freedom that they needed to tap into their pleasure, so, really, it's never too late to discover your sexuality and to enjoy yourself.
mhm,
Okay, myth number 9. If you lost
mm.
your desire, you'll never get it back again.
I think that, it's perhaps our intimacy, our sexuality, desire, libido. There are a lot of things in my life that kind of can wax and wane. I
True.
can get really preoccupied with work. And then I'm like, wait, let's come back into joy. Let's come back into peace. Let's come back into really constraining to open up my space and not have so much on my plate and be pulled so many different directions. And so what if desire is the same way? That and just because it's different doesn't mean something's wrong. So because it's different in 50s or 60s as it was in the 20s and 30s, doesn't mean something's wrong. It means, hey, this is how this works now.
Yeah, and so, like, you'll never get it back again. Maybe you won't get it back again because that was the
Hmm.
desire, your libido in your 20s. And what's your libido in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s? What does that look like now? I think that's
Yeah.
a more important question than spending all your time looking at the past and saying, "Boy, I wish." Yeah, like I sit there and I think about my libido during my 20s and 30s, right? I was a very anxious individual and I was a
Hmm.
person that would not take any risks and I wouldn't do anything. So I really wasn't doing much of anything. But my libido was super high at that time, right? Now my libido is not as high, but I'm having more fun. So, you know,
Give and take. Um,
exactly.
gi give and take, and then there are changes. Life is changing, so that what happens if you're in your 50s or in your 60s, depending on suddenly maybe that's when you're noticing empty nest, or you start looking at retirement, and suddenly there's not an alarm clock first thing in the morning, there's not kids needing you to be their chauffeur and drag them here and there. Now it's you get to have fun with grandkids and then spoil them and send them back. You get to kind of do what you feel like. So maybe there's more freedom, and suddenly you may find, wait, now there's like I can have lasagna at 6 a.m. in the morning. I can have sex any time of the day I want. Why not? If life ebbs and flows, why can't desire? And what if you just examine what it is in the moment for what it is versus comparing it to something in the past?
So good. We can't bring back the past. So why waste any time comparing anything to
Mhm.
the past?
Right.
That's really what it comes down to. Okay.
Mhm.
Myth number 10. And I like that we this transitions right into it. The best years of intimacy and kind of another line would be the best years of our lives are behind us.
Mm.
What do you think
Mhm.
about that?
I think again, you just depends on it doesn't have to be that way. It
Mm,
will be that way if you decide it will be that way. And it depending on what you value, right?
mhm.
I have wisdom, I have more self-assurance, I have more ability to be vulnerable without feeling like I have to run. There's so much growth that has occurred in getting to now that makes now really sweet.
Yes. Like I just like to wrap it up by saying I have more agency. Like I have
Mm,
the ability to choose. I am more empowered now in my late 50s into heading into 60. Like I think that makes a huge difference in your life is like
mhm,
taking taking away the bullshit and focusing on what is really important to you at this point and choosing
Mhm.
what you want your life to be and making your life the way, like not settling.
Mhm.
But truly being like, I have the power to figure out the life that I want to lead and going ahead and creating that life. That
Mhm.
to me is what this is all about. So no, my best years are ahead, you know. And
Yeah.
I think I've told you as well that like I want to live a no regrets life so that when I'm in my 90s and I'm walking in a corridor, that like I can be like, yeah, I lived my life for Sonia and I lived my life the way I was meant to live it, and I made a
Yeah.
difference while I was here.
Yeah. Living the life, creating the life you want, doesn't have to be to the exclusion of others.
Mhm.
It means you get to be the gatekeeper of what that looks like.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%, 100%. Okay, Coach Donna, we have come to the end of another fabulous session. I
Always
can't
a
wait
pleasure.
for us to be doing this weekly in the Reignite Intimacy program, where
See you
we're
so
going to be
much.
just having such a great time and helping women to transform their intimacy and to
Mhm.
transform their concepts around sexual intimacy as they're getting
Yeah.
older and what exactly they want their intimacy to look like in the future. Okay. Thank you for
Absolutely.
joining me, Diamonds. I will talk
Mwah.
to you next week. Mwah. Thank you so much for joining Coach Donna and myself as we explore some of the most common myths about aging and sexual intimacy. Our hope is that today's conversation helped you to see that intimacy doesn't disappear with age, it evolves. Our hope is that today's conversation helped you to see that intimacy doesn't disappear with age, it evolves. And when we let go of outdated beliefs, we create space for new possibilities, deeper connections, and greater pleasure. If you're ready to move beyond the myths and create your own version of intimacy in midlife, we would love to invite you to join us inside the Diamond Intimacy Collective. Starting September 20th and continuing through December 6th, Coach Donna and myself, Dr. Sonia, will be leading a live online 12-week course called Reignite. The Reignite Intimacy Program is designed specifically for women who want to reconnect with themselves, their desire, and improve their relationships. As a founding member, you'll receive access to the full 12-week Reignite program. We're going to do it live, so you will be a member. You will be in the group coaching program. And this is a bonus along with 12 months inside the Diamond Intimacy Collective. All of that is just $355. Why are you asking me? Why am I doing all of that for only $355? Because you are my diamonds. You have always been there with me. This offer as a founding member is only available to you as a diamond that listens to my podcast, or if you're on my email list, or if you're already in the Diamond Intimacy Collective, the free version. So please understand that this founding price is only available for the month of July. After that, the price is going to go up to $997, which is also a steal for a 12-week program, online program, and an entire year in the Diamond Intimacy Collective. For me, I am giving you as many opportunities as possible to do this work with me. So if you've been thinking about taking the next step, we'd love you to join us now and help shape the community as a founding member. Remember, aging is not the end of intimacy. It may just be the beginning of a whole new chapter. So until next time, take good care of yourself and keep creating intimacy on your own terms. Love you, Diamond. Dr. Sonia out.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Midlife Sex Coach for Women podcast. If you enjoyed Dr. Sonia's fun and caring approach to sexual intimacy, head to soniawrightmd.com to learn more.